Hello, my name is Kirioth, and I think Games Workshop has done a rare painting mistake. So, you may remember quite a while ago, a box was revealed with Daughters of Cain versus Nighthaunt. I forget which stream it was on some preview or event or other. I forget which one exactly, but there were some new models revealed within there. We had some crossbows, some ghosts with crossbows. Excellent name. I forget who came up with that, but fantastic. It definitely wasn't me. I'm sure I've stolen it from somewhere. And someone called the Scriptum, some ghost, some spirit, if you will, called the Scriptum Mortis. The Scriptum Mortis has had an article today talking about his rule, his special rule that he's got, which I hate. I'm just going to say it. I hate it. It's very clear, right? They've really laid it out. You cannot misinterpret this, although you'd be forgiven for doing it accidentally. You can't intentionally misinterpret this, but dear God, the words judged and judgment are used so often that it's just impossible to hear them without them losing me. You know what, I'll show you. No, I'll show you. This has absolutely nothing to do with the video itself, but whatever. Tangent time. Sentence to eternal torment. Once the true name of a judged soul is recorded, it is a race against time for the victim to banish the scripture in order to escape unending punishment. Are you ready for this? These words will lose all meaning for you. Semantic satiation. It's a thing, and it's real. It's real in this rule. In your hero phase, you can say that this unit is going to record the name of a judged soul. If you do so, pick one enemy hero that doesn't have the death keyword and that is visible to this unit to be the judged soul. So far, so good. At the start of each of your subsequent hero phases, if the judged soul in this unit are on the battlefield, make a judgment roll for the judged soul, and this unit cannot recall the name of a different judged soul in that phase. In addition, if the battle would end and the judged soul in this unit are on the battlefield, then before the battle ends, you must make a judgment roll for the judged soul. To make a judgment roll, roll a dice. If the roll is less than the number of the current battle round, the judged soul suffers 2d6 mortal wounds. A unit cannot be picked to be a judged soul more than once in the same battle. The words judged and judgment have lost all meaning, and my brain is melting. The thing is, it's not actually that difficult, right? They've been very clear, they've been very unequivocal about how this works. And unfortunately, the whole judged and judgment thing melts my mind like you would not believe. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. This is the Scriptum Mortis, and at the time of seeing him, the first time of seeing him, I really liked this model. I thought it was grand, mainly because it looks like something I'd make. It's weird, it's creepy. There's a big old, candelabra? Are they the same thing? I don't know. Stuck into its back. It's got 3 arms instead of 2. I mean, I'm all for sticking extra arms on things. I know Elden Ring is the big thing at the moment. Also, very good. But I was sticking extra limbs on stuff well before Elden Ring was a thing. This is something that I would do. So I'm kind of biased towards it. I'm predisposed to like it because it's weird and I like weird stuff. However, one of the main criticisms that I saw for this was that it doesn't look like a Nighthaunt model. I mean, it does. It's got the hallmarks of a Nighthaunt model. You've got all the ghosty, spirity stuff down the bottom. You've got, the weird, flamey stuff. You've got all the smoke coming out of the lantern. And the kind of posture of it, that kind of thing. That all matches, but it lacks a key element, right? It lacks the cloak. So if you look here at Leica on the Executioner, got a big cloak, painted black. Knight of Shrouds, got a big cloak, painted black. The Cruel Ghast Cruciator, I hate your name, also has got that kind of black cloth at the top, which is probably not cloth, it is probably more spirity stuff, but still, there is a distinct look there, which this does not share. And I saw quite a few people saying that it just didn't look right because it didn't have that element. And at the time I was like, well, do they all need that? Do they really need that? Would that even work for this model? I mean, given that it has that slightly different element, would it work to have that darker section up top going down into the spirity stuff when there's no cloth up there? Surely that would look a bit weird. And I was pretty convinced of that until I saw the artwork in this particular article. And now I am 100% convinced that this model would look infinitely better if it was painted how this artwork was painted, right? Because look at this. Now, tell me that doesn't look fantastic. It does. It hits the mark on all levels. For a start, I love the fact that the candles actually have green flames as well as the lantern. That's a really cool touch, and that would look great on the model. But they didn't do it on the model, they did yellow on the model, because the model itself was majority green, and if you had the green candles on the green body with the green lantern giving out the green smoke, that would look really samey, and it would look really washed out and not very good. But they've combated that in the artwork by having the upper half be that dark colour, but with those flares of bone. The actual shoulder blades, they're actually there, you can see them. They are is that your shoulder blade? I know nothing about the anatomy of anything, really. Whatever they are, those bits, they are actually painted as bone, but it doesn't look out of place because you've got that dark upper body with the bone picked out, which looks fantastic, and you will note, looks considerably more like that. And that. And that. Like, this fits way better than the actual model that they painted up to advertise the model itself. This doesn't actually fit in with any of these nearly as well as the drawn image of it. And this, I feel, is quite a rare circumstance, if you ask me. Generally speaking, when they paint up models for promotion, they tend to nail it, right? And this isn't a comment on the skill or ability of the person who painted this, okay? It's absolutely not that. They've painted this fantastically. They have. The technique is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with the detail on there. In terms of the application of it all, it's absolutely fine. It looks great. But it's just the colours don't match from the middle up. It looks like its own separate thing instead of being part of the Nighthaunt as a whole, which didn't even strike me. It didn't even bother me or seem like it was a problem. In fact, I don't think I even thought about the fact that it doesn't really look all that Nighthaunt when it comes to the main body of this thing, until I saw the artwork for it, which then made me compare it properly to the rest of the range and go, oh, you know what, actually, it doesn't match, does it? It doesn't actually match all that well at all. I think this is just a weird choice. This is a super weird choice. And now that I'm looking at it, with something to compare it to, that is it's the same thing, but in a slightly different colour scheme, it makes this one stand out really badly compared to everything else. I realise this video is a bit weird, but it's just something that suddenly struck me where I wonder how many models we've written off. How many models we've seen and then thought, well, no, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't work with the rest of the army because it's had some sort of weird different colour scheme, or because it's been painted in such a way that it doesn't match the rest of the lineup. I wonder how many people have written something off that otherwise would look pretty decent just because it hasn't got that same feel as the rest of the army that it's supposed to be part of. Because this feels like it stands out to me a lot now, except it doesn't need to. It doesn't actually have to stand out. And in fact, it wouldn't stand out if it was painted more like the artwork that has been made of it. It's just a weird anomaly that jumped out as I was reading through the article and taking a look at the, I guess the rules, okay. It's alright. It's not, I don't think it's anything spectacular. You got to roll below the battle round, so your chances are pretty slim, and saying things like it has the potential to do 12 mortal wounds, yeah, sure, the potential is one thing. What actually happens on the table, not the same thing as potential. But yeah, just something that jumped out at me. Anyway, is there anything that you can think of where it's just not matched and then you've felt like it doesn't fit in terms of the display stuff that they put together? Because I feel like this is relatively rare. But then again, maybe I've just been missing them when they've happened. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games if you're in the UK, and there is one for Noble Knight Games if you're in the US. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.